Hey everyone, Sam Signorelli, H1 Fencing. Welcome back to Can Haz Armory. Today, a little video on how to make a test kit for yourself, how to use it. You will need, among other things, a go-no-go box, some kind of test box, a weight, epee, foil, epee, or combo, depending on what you use, some screwdrivers, some wrenches, and body cords, and of course, your weapons. Stand by. Okay, let's first talk about the basic thing, the test box. You don't necessarily have to have a circuit like I've got, the big 3-meter job that's meant to test everything in the world to do your body cord checks. You can do almost everything with a simple test box like you would buy an Armor. This is an old go-no-go box. Go-no-go means it works or it doesn't. It's got two lights. It has a red light here and a green light there, and these only indicate which circuit's firing. A, B for epee is the red light. BC for foil and saber is the green light. And we'll show you how to test your weapons and your cords just using this. Stand by. Okay, so let's show you how to do the testing of the go-no-go box. I'm going to use a foil first. The first thing you notice is no lights on because it's not plugged in yet. Remember that foil is a normally closed circuit at rest. I mean, there's always continuity between the B and the C line, the wire and the ground. When I plug this in, the green light will come on, indicating you have a proper circuit. All right, that's open there. It's on. Push tip down, circuit opens, light goes out. Let go, circuit reestablishes, light comes back on. So put the weight over it. My weight is heavy. Normal weight is 500 grams plus or minus 2. So between 498 and 502 grams is legal. My room is 513, so it's really heavy. If it passes me, it should pass any properly calibrated weight in the strip, which is why Armor's weights are heavy. Put it on, push down, light goes off, let go, light comes back on. Spring works properly. This weapon's ready now to hit the strip. It passes the check. Hang on, I'll do epee. Okay, now we do epee test. I have another bit of gear here for the tip gauge, and epee's already plugged in, but notice there's no light because epee's normal rest state is an open circuit, so there's no continuity. Push tip in, watch the red light. There it is. That's an AB circuit closer. So we do this one. Epee's weight is 750 grams plus or minus 3, so 747 to 753 is the allowable weight. Mine's 763. Again, passes me, should pass any bit of the strip. Put the weight on it and push the tip down. Red light fires. I let go. It passes, lifts the weight off, and then I'm going to do the gauge check, which doesn't exist in foil. 1.5 mm shim fits inside between the barrel and the tip. That's fine. A note for referees: it doesn't have to go all the way in. If it goes in a little bit, it's still a pass. It doesn't have to fit all the way, just the fit. Then you put the 0.5 mm shim in and push the tip down. I should not see a light. Okay, 3 times. No light, just passes shim. Now notice I didn't go hold and grind it. It's push, let go, turn, push, let go. That way I don't grind the gauge around and wear it down. Anybody does that and holds it down and grinds around, the Armor's going to be all over you. And not in a good way. That is how you test epee and foil for the weight check on a go-no-go box. Unfortunately, cannot test the bell guard with this. That would take an ohmmeter or a special box like I use. I'll show that in a little bit. Stand by. Okay, so can you test a body cord with a go-no-go box? Yes, you can. It's a little more difficult than it is with the box like I use, but it can be done. So you need the plug one in the cord in the box. We'll use an epee for right now. Have the other end here and a screwdriver. I'm going to short the A and the B line together. You see the red light come on. I'm holding the screwdriver in contact, and then I'm going to wiggle the cord back and forth, and I don't see the light flickering. No problem. Back to BC, same thing, green light, and nothing there. I cannot do AC on this to check for shorts, but the ball lines are clear there. Foil is a little more difficult on the A line. You have to kind of be worried about it. But again, plugging in, going to the B and C side, the green light comes on. Got to hold it in place there. That's a little more difficult here. We'll go back and forth. Fine. Now, testing the A line. This is the hard one because you have 2 different separate pieces here. I'm going to take my A line, I'm going to clip it to the screwdriver so it holds it in place. Then touch the screwdriver to the B line on this. That means an AB short like an epee, and then wiggle this part back and forth, and that's fine. So that is how you would test the body cords with a go-no-go box. A mass cord would be really difficult because you have to find some way to connect it to this box, and they're not designed that way. You may have to take what you could do is take the clips. If you have some spare body cord pins, 4 mm body cord pins like off an epee cord, and you put one in each of the jaws of the A clip. You know, like this is the pin, like that, and then put those in the A and B line of your test box. You have an AB short, and then wiggle them. That'd probably work, but it's a bit more of a pain in the butt. Okay, another way to test your gear is with an ohmmeter. I'm going to use this to test the mass cord. A different way you can do it. See, notice it's kind of infinite ohms right now. I'm going to touch the two probes together. Note resistance will drop because there's continuity. So I'm going to do but the body mass cord is clip them to the probe. So went in on one probe, went on the other probe, and you watch the continuity there. And I'm simply going to wiggle it back and forth, just like I do with the body cords. And that is how another way you could test mass cords. This cord is good. As far as testing ground is concerned, we're going to look at épée first. And what you want to make sure is that there's continuity between the guard and the ground socket, which is the third one over here, the one farthest away, right there. Because we're going to make sure that a hit to the guard doesn't register in any weapon. So I'm going to, first off, I'm going to make sure there's continuity between there. This probe goes into the C line of the socket of the weapon. I'm just going to touch the probe to the guard, and if there's continuity, it'll show. Okay, there's continuity there, right? And that means a hit to the guard will register. Also, hit to the grip will register if it's an unpainted grip. So that's how you check the continuity in épée. Same thing happens in foil. You do the same thing. You would touch it. You touch the one probe to the C side of the socket, which again is the one the wire's not on, and then touch the guard, and watch the magic happen. And there we go. That's how you check your ground. If you do one of those tests and you do not show continuity, meaning there's nothing dropping that resistance because there's contact between the guard and the C line and the socket, you have a problem. Typically the sockets come loose. And this is important because if you take a hit to the guard and it registers valid in épée, that's a valid hit in the gear. And you want that stuff to go to ground and not fire the lights. That's how you use an ohmmeter to check that. Next, let's talk about screwdrivers. Okay, screwdrivers is wonderful little things to handle those itty bitty tiny little parts. You'll need several different drivers depending on what you work on. If you're talking about the tips of the weapons for foil and épée, first we have primarily I use a 5/64 flathead. This is great for the point screws to get them in and out. If you have the new épée point screws, the hollow ones that come out of Madrid, they also have a specialized screwdriver that the screw sits onto and locks into. Great control. It's always getting in. The problem is this is stamped metal. It's very thin. It really can't take the torque to tighten it up properly. So what I do is I'll get it going. It's snug to take it out. Put this screwdriver in and tighten it up. Also take it out. Use this one to tighten it because again it can't take the torque. But that's good for that one. For a body cord screw where the wire is connecting, I usually use a slightly larger driver. Don't know what size this is because it wore off a long time ago. It's the next size up from the 5/64. Again, it's a flathead, and it's great for getting screws out of body cords. If I'm trying to get into the body cord and take the casing off, if I have a Favero, it's going to be a Phillips head screwdriver. I'm not sure what size it is. 1/8 inch flat is good for the Ullman type with the flathead screws. For the sockets, if you have a slotted screwdriver, like a little stubby like this, that works great for most sockets. Older Prieur sockets have an outside hex nut, so the standard nut used for an outside hex driver works on that to get that on and off. There's the screwdrivers, and next, wrenches. Okay, wrenches. I have a bunch of them. They're metric. I got these primarily from a single metric set. Got it of Sears. It was a Craftsman set. Sears no longer has them. I don't know if Lowe's has this set. You have to look online for it. But the sizes are, for a foil point, generally speaking, it's going to be a 5mm wrench to grab the flats. Leon Paultons have 5.5 for some bizarre reason. For an épée point, it's going to be a 6mm to grab the flats. And notice I have mine color coded with heat shrinks to know which ones I'm grabbing. If you have an old Prieur foil socket, God, why would you? It's going to be typically a 7mm nut. Sometimes I put an 8 on it. 8, again, for some Prieur sockets. Most of the German sockets, the nut is an 8. I have a second 7, and this one is I think it's not I'm not sure what size this is. I use this one for the screwless S-stock points, so I don't see anymore because they grab the flat real good there on the top part of it. But those are your wrenches, and you're gonna find whatever works for you, whichever weapon you work on, and they're the wrench sets. So again, Sears, maybe not really anymore. Lowe's, you may have to get the 5mm from somebody's specialty shop. The rest are typically commercially available, like they were at Osh when Osh was around. They're wrenches. Next, the pommel wrenches. Last but not least, pommel wrenches. Depending what kind of pommel you have. If you have a French pommel that has a hole through the center, through the side, you can use a bit of broken off tang to get in there and crank it around. Note that as you crank it around, though, the tang's going to start projecting through. So if you have it this way all the way through, it tightens up. It's going to lock up on that. So if you want to pull it back and turn it that way. There are some pommels that have a hexagonal cut at the top, or a flat on the side. You use a standard wrench or an inside hex wrench. It's a 6mm inside hex wrench. Others was an Allen key. Works for those kind of French pommels and also for any inside hex pommel. Inside hex pommel got to worry about because the tang, as you crank it down, projects through the nut. So if you're cranking it tight, here's the pommel, here's the nut, and this happens, it pushes the wrench out, and then you can't get it off. So you be really careful how you cut that tang down, and how you tighten it. I did that in an earlier video. The last one is an outside hex nut, which is this. This goes around the nut. It's a coupling nut, and you can crank that one down and up. This also works for the French épée sockets. They use an 8mm nut for the that nut for the socket. And you don't see this much anymore. Most people go to inside hex because it has some advantages. The advantage to an outside hex nut is you don't have to worry about the tang length as long as it doesn't stick out the back of the grip, because the tang goes through the nut, but the wrench is around the nut so it doesn't push it out. That's the basics of your toolkit. You find what works for you and learn how to use it. And my videos are here to help out. As always, happy armoring.